Let me take the opportunity this afternoon to welcome every one of you who are watching online and those who are here with us in person. This is the Triumphant Church of God in Durham, located at 824 Simcoe Street South in Oshawa, Ontario. Today, we are getting ready. We have advertised it. We have done a lot of background information sharing. And here is the day that we are going to take the opportunity to present to you the Unlocking Your Next Chapter workshop. I want you to stay tuned. I want you to stay focused. If you need to take notes while you're watching. And we want you to get all the information that you can. And as we like to do on every one of our programs, we want to encourage you to personalize what you have heard and see how it can impact your day-to-day life. And may it be exciting, may it be life-changing, may it even be challenging to you as you take in everything today. So may God bless you all, and we're just going to pray before we get started here. Father, we thank you once again for the opportunity to present something that is valuable, something that is instructional, and something that will be educational to all those who view today. Bless our time together. Bless our presenters. We are looking forward to great things. And those who will watch online later, that they will also receive something that they will feel that is educational to their lives. Bless us now as we say thank you in Jesus' name. Amen and amen. And at this time, I introduce to you none other than Donna. She is a lifestyle 55 plus master seniors realtor. She happens to be our realtor, and we're so thankful for her in our lives. And so at this time, Donna, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Reverend Coleman. Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. It's great to see everyone today. Welcome to our online guests as well. How's everyone doing today? Wonderful. Well, we are very excited to be here and to get started. First off, I would like to say it is a true honor to stand before you today in this beautiful church, a place that holds so much significance for all of us. I would also like to take a moment to express my deep gratitude to Reverend Coleman and Lady Anna Coleman for inviting us here today and recognizing the important work that we do. Having known them for over 25 years, I can tell you that they're very special to me. And I can attest to their unwavering dedication to our community and to the countless ways that they have enriched our lives. Thank you for that. Together, we have navigated many real estate journeys, including securing this wonderful space where we're gathered today. And it was quite the journey, was it not, Reverend Coleman? We had a lot of fun with this one. As we have often discussed, there are many topics that can greatly benefit our community, especially when it comes to preparing for life's transitions and those unexpected circumstances. That's why I'm excited to be here with all of you today to explore the themes of financial preservation and unlocking the next chapter of your life through what I like to call thoughtful planning. Now, who am I? Well, I'd like to take a few moments to share that with you. My name is Donna Baglieri, and I'm known as a Lifestyle 55 Plus Master Seniors Realtor. It's a special designation that I've earned. I am part of a unique members program where only 40 realtors across Canada are a part of. I am also the broker owner of Belvista Realty, right here in Durham region, and I have proudly served my clients for over 35 years. However, my passion lies with helping seniors and their families. And guiding them through those important life and housing transitions. I am very proud to be affiliated with a team of trusted professionals dedicated to serve the unique needs of the aging Canadian. Today, I have the honor to introduce our guest speaker, Patricia Walsh. Patricia is an investment advisor with 30 years experience in the financial industry. She comes to us with a wealth of knowledge. She specializes in helping clients navigate those life transitions with emphasizing the importance of planning ahead and securing a comfortable and secure future, a fulfilling future. With her experience, her own personal story, and what I like to call the heart of a teacher, she hopes to provide you with valuable insights and practical strategies that will empower you to take control of your financial future and embrace the lifestyle that you envision. Once again, thank you all for being here today, and let's welcome Patricia to share her expertise with us.
Thank you for that. Thank you everyone for attending today. I'd like to express my gratitude to Pastor Coleman and First Lady Anna Coleman for providing this opportunity for the congregation to access information that can enhance your lives now and in the future. I'd also like to extend a special thank you to Donna Baglieri for inviting me as a trusted referral partner to kick off what I'm sure will be a really informative series of presentations for you. That being said, as the first presenter, there's a little bit of pressure, so I welcome your feedback on what resonates with you, what didn't resonate with you, and what you felt was missing. Please feel free to ask questions throughout the presentation. I believe you can put questions in the notes of YouTube, and Mrs. Coleman will read them to me, feed them to me, okay? And of course, don't hesitate to reach out to me privately after. So here we go. With Halloween just around the corner, we're diving into all sorts of spooky stories. But let's be real, sometimes the scariest tales are those about money. It shouldn't be something that keeps you tossing and turning at night. But by facing our financial fears, we can light the way to a brighter future. A lot of financial stress comes from the uncertainty that worries about surprise expenses, fluctuations in the market, do I have enough for retirement? But the good news is tackling these fears head on is really important, and your financial advisor, if you have one, is here to help you find clarity and peace of mind. So a little bit about me. And my personal journey. As a younger woman, I was a single mom with 2 kids, and I was deeply concerned about my financial security. I had no support beyond my own earning capacity. So personally, I've always had an interest in investing, but what took me a while to grasp was that you gotta start somewhere. My investment journey began making very small contributions to an RSP at the time, every month. Even those months where I had to make a choice between having family pizza and movie night, we all remember those Friday nights going to Blockbuster Video, and getting a pizza and dropping $50 or $60. But I simply pivoted, and I made it a family game night, and we had English muffin mini pizzas at home, but I was able to make that RSP contribution. Those small changes make a massive difference, and there's so much more for us to spend our money on now with Uber and streaming platforms and everything else, that you have to be mindful of those things in order to make those choices. So those choices that I made as a younger adult laid the foundation for what for me will be a very comfortable retirement. I have since spent almost 30 years in the financial industry, and while my title is investment advisor, that label barely scratches the surface about what I do and what most other financial advisors do as well. I've become a friend, a confidant, a trusted professional, a referral resource. I've done some counseling. And of course, there's always the tax, debt, and income advice that people are looking for. But my superpower, because we all have one, is what I like to call people speak. I strive to give my clients peace of mind and a path to achieve it in terms that they can and want to understand. So everyone, all of you, Donna, everybody has a different journey. And occasionally I have to deliver some difficult truths. Recently, a client who began working with me, he's a public sector employee of 20 years. He's 65 years old and went through a divorce. And he always thought, because he had an OMERS pension and government benefits, that he would be able to maintain his lifestyle as the same way as he had become accustomed to. This client does not live an extravagant lifestyle. He has a condo with a mortgage, he has a car, and he takes a vacation annually. And that's not unreasonable in my opinion. If he retires next year at age 66, his income is going to drop from $110,000 a year to $55,000 a year. So he has been forced, he has no option, but in his idea, he has to work until he's 70 years old, and he has to save aggressively to get accustomed to living on $55,000 a year. Even if he were to sell his condo and use the equity, rent is not much less than what he would be paying for mortgage, taxes, and condo fees. Now, on the opposite end of that spectrum, I have another 75-year-old gentleman who's a client, been a client for years, and he has more money than he's ever going to need in his lifetime. He was an aggressive saver and very frugal all his life. He will never receive old age security, and he will always be in the highest tax bracket. And in a manner of speaking, it almost feels like he's being punished for good behavior. For him, my advice is very different. Have fun, be generous, do good with your money. It's a different ballgame. So the trick is to find the balance. Clients reach out to me for guidance, as I mentioned, on various different financial decisions, even if they don't relate to their specific investments. As I mentioned earlier, advice to my wealthy and retired clients is also often, a gentle nudge. Carpe diem, seize the day. Take that vacation, buy that car, gift or donate that money. You can't take it with you. We all know that. So yes, planning is essential, but it's equally important to engage in activities that bring you joy and fulfillment. It's all about finding the right balance between living for today and saving for tomorrow. So as demonstrated by my two different clients, it's hard to change those habits of a lifetime. The first client is being forced to make decisions that will keep him working for longer than he wants to. And the other client struggles to change his austere habits. Most clients are somewhat in the middle, and most of them are a little bit younger than these two examples. For those clients, we've done a deep dive into what they have now, what they need for the future, and how they get there. So why are we here? What does your next chapter look like? For many, planning is overwhelming, leading to what is often called analysis paralysis. But remember, not planning is still a plan, just not necessarily a great one. The next little bit is going to be some numbers that are hard to hear. It's a dangerous game to rely on luck and fate to ensure a comfortable retirement. Recently, a CBC poll found that 34% of Canadians hope to fund their retirement costs with a lottery win. Not only that, an Ipsos Reid survey found that 35% of Canadians are counting on an inheritance to fund their retirement. So the problem with these two strategies, many of you already know, is that the odds of winning a lottery are, drum roll, 1 in 14 million.
Wow.
And even though mom may have a $500,000 RIF with named beneficiaries of her children, it's going to be taxed at the highest marginal tax rate, which is 53.5%. So that remaining $230,000 is going to be divided among the beneficiaries. If there's 4 kids, then are you going to fund your retirement on $75,000? Not going to happen. So one of my go-to sayings when I'm talking to clients is, let's do the math. Just as an aside, I had a young client reach out to me. He has $1,000, which to him is a lot of money. And he said, I don't need this money for a year, but I want to make some money on it. And I said, okay, well, you need the money in a year, so you can't afford to take any risk. So you're not going to put it into Tesla or NVIDIA or Microsoft or any kind of a stock or even a mutual fund for that matter. If you put it into a high interest savings account, earning a very good 6.25%, which is out there right at the moment, the math is that $1,000 is going to earn him $62.25 in a year, or 17 cents a day. So this is what I mean when I say you've got to do the math. So for the rest of this discussion, we're going to assume that retirement begins at age 65. We have to have somewhere to start, okay? There's 3 numbers that you should be able to go pluck, 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 right out of the air. You should know what your net income is, your net worth is, and your net expenses. So your net income, many people talk about earnings in terms of gross. Gross. For instance, if somebody earns $100,000, they don't have $100,000 to spend. They have $60,000 to spend. The discrepancy can create confusion about your spending capabilities. The simplest thing to do, take your paycheck and multiply it by how many times the net amount of your paycheck and multiply it by the number of times a year you get paid. Get paid bi-weekly, multiply it by 26. If you get paid monthly, then you obviously multiply it by 12. If you get paid weekly, 52 times. That's the number you need to work from when you're figuring out what your net expenses are. And your net expenses are both fixed and variable. And have you reviewed recently to identify areas of potential savings? Did you sign up for a subscription, a trial subscription that is going to hit your credit card in 3 months and then forgot to cancel it, so now it's on your credit card? They make a ton of money with these things, an absolute ton of money. So you should be looking at your credit card statement every month carefully. And have you negotiated with your cell phone provider? Have you negotiated with your TV lineup provider? Do you need Prime and Netflix and Crave and to what, Hulu, I think it is, and Disney, and all of these subscription services, maybe you just do one at a time, binge all the things that you want to see on that one, cancel it, and sign up for a new one. They're little things, but they do make a difference. And then very important and very simple is understanding your net worth. Net worth is a simple calculation. What do I own? What do I own? Less what do I owe? Should be able to just pull that. And as an aside, a lot of homeowners don't even realize that they're millionaires just based on the value of their home. Correct? Yeah. So once you have clarity on these three areas, you can better determine what retirement income sources are, if they're going to be enough to meet your needs. And those retirement sources or income sources, first of all, is Canada Pension Plan. Again, we're assuming you take it at age 65. But the maximum pension, CPP pension, that any Canadian can receive is $1,364 a month, $1,364 a month. Of 65-year-olds receiving Canada Pension, 6% receive the maximum. That's a scary number. The average of Canadian collecting CPP receives $815 a month. That's not even a rent payment. Of course, then there's, at age 65, you start collecting old age security. Old age security is based on residency, not on, CPP is a contributory plan. If you've worked, you'll collect CPP. Old age security is based on residency. So if you've lived in Canada for a period of time, you will collect all or some of old age security. Do you have pensions from other sources? Do you have a pension plan through your employer? Review the pension statement to explore what your options are. And does it make sense for you to commute your pension? And commuting pension basically means you're taking the cash value today and managing it yourself, putting it into a locked-in retirement account and managing it yourself. Is commuting even an option for you? And some of the considerations when you are thinking about making, either taking the pension itself or commuting, are marital status, longevity, and current interest rates. I had a client recently, he hasn't, coincidentally, it's an OMERS pension as well, and he got an estimate from OMERS in 2020 when he hits 55, what the commuted value will be. And at that time, it was $600,000. With the declining interest rates, and this is how interest rates impact these pension plans, he got another estimate from OMERS about how much he would receive if he commuted his pension at 55. He's 40, actually I believe he just turned 50. And because interest rates have come down, the commuted value on his pension in 2024, or 2023, excuse me, is $400,000. Wow. So it's a big difference. So what they're doing is calculating the value today of the cash value today of what that pension is. Okay, so of course interest rates are a serious consideration. So do you have a collection of small locked-in accounts from previous employers? And can they either be unlocked or consolidated or moved to an RSP? And investment accounts. So consider the investment vehicles that you have, whether it's an RRSP or a tax-free savings account or a non-registered investment account. And understand the tax implications of drawing an income from them. Your financial advisor should give you a pathway to keep you in the lowest possible tax bracket that's possible, in consideration of everything you want to happen to your money going forward. There's also the opportunity, especially with boomers, to downsize your home. take some of that cash, unlock it. There are vehicles that investment vehicles that are tax advantaged that you can draw a monthly income from. Alternatively, you may be able to unlock some of the equity in your home by using mortgage products. The reverse mortgage of yesterday is not the reverse mortgage of today. As I mentioned earlier, review your expenses. Have you negotiated those better deals with your cell phone provider or your TV provider? Are you paying for subscription services that you don't know? Will some of your regular expenses, when you stop working, disappear? And will you increase your spending in other ways when you retire? For example, snow removal and lawn care. Maybe you don't want to or can't do that anymore. Life insurance is an oft ignored piece of your financial plan. Evaluate your life insurance policies or have your financial advisor do it for you. First and foremost, do you really still need that insurance? And then is there cash value in it that you can draw out or borrow from? Or is it term insurance that at age 85 is going to expire worthless? Okay? And then final piece of the puzzle is government benefits. We talked about CPP and old age security, but do you or dependent family member also qualify for the disability tax credit? Because that can reduce your taxable income significantly. Even if it's not relevant right now, it could be later when your income goes down, okay? So if you qualify for the disability tax credit, by all means, get it put in place. So those are going to be all your sources of income for retirement. There may be others. You probably, who knows, many people will get a small inheritance. Some people will get a big inheritance. But to count on that is maybe not the best plan. In the past, financial advisors often told people that they would spend 60 to 70% of their pre-retirement income in retirement. That's changed. It's not like that anymore. The reason they said that was because we didn't have the expense of traveling to work anymore, the cost of working, whether it's monthly GO train or gas and vehicles and nice clothing. As I say, times have changed in 2020, and many of us are working from home, so we don't have the same travel expenses. We don't, we only have nice clothes on from here up because we're holding on camera from here up. But the impact of that is that your expenses now, working remotely, are probably quite similar to what your expenses will be when you retire. I think it's probably more practical to say that you will spend, but certainly in the first 10 years, 90% at least of your pre-retirement income in retirement. Okay, so, topic nobody likes to talk about. The final chapter. We all need to understand what happens to us, to our money, and to our things after we die or when we lose capacity to make our own decisions. Everyone should have 3 documents. Write this down. You should have a power of attorney for property. You should have a power of attorney for personal care, and you should have a will. These documents should be reviewed annually, along with beneficiary designations on any registered products or insurance products, including insurance that you have with your employer through your group benefits. Put a recurring reminder on your calendar to check it every year. If nothing changes, nothing changes. But if something does change, it won't slip through the cracks. I have seen an ex-wife received the proceeds of an insurance policy because her husband did not update the beneficiary on the policy to his new wife. Nothing can be done. In addition, and this is what's shocking to a lot of people, in Ontario, common law spouses are not treated the same as married spouses under the law of Ontario. They do not automatically have the same common law property division rights. If a common law spouse, this is the important part, if a common law spouse dies intestate without a will, the surviving spouse will not inherit any part of the estate. And this is relatively new, it's only 2 years old. Now, of course, that does not apply to family law rules. That's different, and family law obligations. And please beware, I am not giving legal advice. You need to check your facts, check my facts, and make sure that you have everything in order for yourself. So an important consideration is how your assets are distributed after you die. Do you have a financially irresponsible or an addicted child who, if they receive the entire entitlement in one lump sum, would be negatively impacted? So how do you want that distributed? And your power of attorney document will allow your power of attorney, and that's not a lawyer, it's your agent, it's the person you name, to make decisions on your behalf if you become incapable of making those decisions yourself. But a power of attorney cannot write your will, and a power of attorney cannot update your beneficiaries. So estate planning is a critical piece of the puzzle that if set up correctly, will give you peace of mind. So the choice to work with a financial advisor is a very personal one. While DIY financial planning is an option, I believe in focusing on what I enjoy and what I'm good at, and hiring professionals for everything else. For example, I do not do my own taxes, and I do not do my own electrical work. I leave those to the experts. If organizing your finances creates stress for you, partnering with a financial advisor can relieve that burden. When searching for a financial advisor, you first need to feel that you can work and communicate with this person. They will provide you with information in a manner that you can understand and feed you tasks in manageable pieces. Much of the information needed to create a comprehensive financial plan must be provided by the client. So that financial advisor is going to ask you to provide investment statements, pension statements, copies of annual statements on your insurance policies, savings accounts, and mortgage statements. They're going to ask you for information from CRA, including an estimate for CPP. The estimate will show what you would receive at age 60, 65, and 70, and your most recent notice of assessment. And while you're on the CRA site, why not gather up how much RRSP room you have and how much TFSA contribution room you have. Some questions for you to answer before you commit to working with one individual. What is their investment philosophy? Do they prefer active trading, or do they have a buy and hold strategy? And does that match with your way of investing? What investment products do they have on their product shelf? Can they only invest in mutual funds or only invest in insurance products? Or can they do stocks, bonds, mutual funds, exchange-traded funds, EFTs, GICs, all of the products out there? And does that matter to you? Okay? How are they compensated? And how does that affect you? Because oftentimes that compensation does not come directly from you. And what additional services do they provide at no extra charge? What's their value added? Do they do financial planning or simply investment advice? Do they do income forecasting? And how are you protected as a consumer? So there is, for myself, I'm CIRO licensed. CIRO is my regulatory body, formerly IROC. And my clients are protected against my company going insolvent through the CIPF insurance program, up to $1 million. If your investments are at the bank, you are covered against the bank going insolvent for $100,000 per client. So if you have 4 BMO GICs at one Bank of Montreal, and I'm sorry, Bank of Montreal, we could have used any one of the big 5, you really are only guaranteed to get $100,000 of your money back. But this isn't really all that important. People sell it all the time as being important, but the reality is the government is never going to let the Bank of Montreal go insolvent. Not in our lifetime, that's for sure. What is important is, does your advisor have errors and omissions insurance? Because that's, I haven't seen it happen in my 30 years. However, if I were to make a mistake, I would be covered. Does your new financial advisor provide you guidance on tax-related matters? It doesn't necessarily, they're not giving you tax advice. That should come from an accountant. But they can give you guidance. And are they licensed to offer insurance products? Can they give you advice on government programs like CPP, old age security, the clawback rules, withholding, disability tax credit, RDSPs, RESPs? If you do collaborate with a financial advisor, you really can look forward to gaining peace of mind regarding your financial future. So don't let fears linger in the shadows. Equip yourself with the knowledge and strategies to face them head on. Let's demystify personal finance and ensure your future is bright and not frightening. And were there any questions on the app? No? Okay, we're good. So thank you so much for your time today. I'm available to anybody who wants to have a conversation. Talking doesn't cost any money at all. So please feel free to reach out.
May I ask a question?
Yes, of course.
Okay, so we listened to the information provided, and this may be a rhetorical question, but at what age do we start using the examples that you shared with us today?
Excellent
What
question.
would you recommend?
Tomorrow. Well, actually, some people would, of course, say yesterday. It depends on a number of factors.
Okay.
But the sooner you start, the less the impact on your day-to-day expenses. So I have some young people that are simply putting away $100 a month. But they're in their 20s, they've got lots of time, and they'll be fine. And you know what? They'll likely put $35,000 into their RSP, and when they buy a house, they'll take that out through the first-time home buyers program. They'll take out what they have in the first-time home buyers account, because there's a way to double dip. But they will already have established the discipline of putting money away, and they'll be far better off. The other thing too is, as a young person, insurance is very inexpensive, very, very inexpensive, and it really does provide you with an instant estate, especially if you have young children. That's probably one of the safest ways to protect your family, and most inexpensive ways. So yeah, really yesterday, as soon as possible.
And follow up to that, does it hurt you or does it benefit you if you have more than one personal insurance, life insurance?
No, not at all. always a good idea to have a professional do an analysis, a needs analysis, to say, okay, well, you know, here's your situation, here's what you want to protect, here's what you already have, and do you need more? Do you need less? Because sometimes that's the case. How much is it costing you? Can we get the same amount of insurance for less? There's two types of insurance. There's if insurance and when insurance, okay? Because we're all going, like, nobody's getting out of here alive. But while we're young and have a young family and big mortgages and the rest of it, we have more to protect, and we need more insurance if something happens. So, yes.
What with the RRSP, when you take money from that, whichever time you want to buy a house or anything, the government gets a portion of money from it.
Well, that depends. So, I'm going to give a little history lesson here. So, after the Second World War, in particular, the Canadian government took a look at, it was the mid-50s, and went, oh my goodness, we're going to have all these baby boomers are going to hit retirement age at the same time, and we need to find a way to make them save money. So that 1957, they established the RRSP. You put money in, you get a tax deduction. You take money out, you pay tax on it at your current marginal tax rate. And the assumption was that you're putting money in when you're in your highest earning years, but you're taking money out when you retire and you're in your lowest earning years. Okay, so you're in a lower tax bracket. It didn't work that way, didn't work out that way for a lot of people because they used one vehicle, an RSP, to save, even when they had low income earning years and really didn't need to put it in there. Okay, all that. So now you've reached a point where you want to take money out. If you are taking money out through the first time home buyers program, and that means you've got an RSP, you've never owned a home, you're not living in a home that your spouse owns, you have to qualify as a first-time home buyer, then you can take up to $35,000 out of your RRSP, and in 2 years you have to start repaying that to your RRSP, okay? The impact is very small because it works out to about, I believe, $1,666 per year. If you don't contribute 2 years later, $1,666, or whatever that amount is for your withdrawal, if you don't contribute that to your RSP, you just add that $1,600 to your taxable income for that particular year. So from the perspective of a home buyer's withdrawal, the impact is very low. If you are simply taking money out of your RRSP and you are not a first-time home buyer, 100%. It is taxable at your marginal tax rate. The holder of your RRSP is obliged to withhold 10% if your withdrawal is under $5,000. They are obliged to withhold 20% if that withdrawal is between $5,001 and $15,000. And they are obliged to withhold 30% if that withdrawal is over $15,001, okay? That doesn't mean that's the tax that you owe, because what if you're in a 40% tax bracket but you only took out $5,000?
Yeah.
You've only prepaid 10% of the tax owing on that. At the end of the year, there's a good chance you're going to owe more money on your tax bill. So as I say, it's a bit of a history lesson about why they were established and so on. It's very frustrating for some people to, they think this is my money. It's very frustrating. But these are the rules we have to work within. So,
And my next question is,
Yes.
if you are self-employed,
yes.
what is the best saving to like TSFA or?
If you're self-employed and your taxable income is low because you have a lot of expenses,
Small business.
okay, it really depends on what your taxable income, what tax bracket you're in. But very often, not always, but very often, the answer is to a TFSA. Absolutely. But it depends on the individual and their financial circumstances. You can also, if you leave money in your corporation, that can be invested.
Yeah.
So that's something to consider as well. All right. So, yes.
Sorry, another question. So, from my understanding, Canada savings bonds were eliminated a little while back. Is there something similar that you can invest in that will give you a sort of a similar return on investment that you could recommend or would recommend?
Any investment recommendation has to take into consider what the client's risk profile is. And that's what when I use the example of that young fellow that came to me, had $1,000. I was on the school community council for my children's elementary school, and we had a big fundraising and had made a lot of money, but weren't going to spend it at that time. So we purchased guaranteed investment certificates, GICs, for 30 days. But of course, this was in the early 2000s, and interest rates were, actually they were pretty good then, if I recall. Yeah, they were. It really depends on what your risk profile is. If it's money you can't afford to lose, there's absolutely vehicles out there, but they're probably only going to give you between 2.5% and 4%. Risk is an absolutely critical discussion with a financial advisor. As a younger advisor, there were times when, people told me their risk tolerance was much higher. I had no reason not to believe them, but I have since learned to dig a little deeper, to watch for body language, to understand what their real risk profile is, because they say they want more risk because they want to earn more money, but with more risk.
You don't have to take it when you lose it.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything else? No? Okay. So please feel free to reach out to me through Pastor Coleman, and Lady Ann. If you'd like a personal consultation, I have also contributed a chapter to a book that is coming out called Financial Success for Pre-Retirees that I would be happy to, I'll bring you a box of them and you can hand them out. And also, if you would like to be on my email distribution list, I often tell clients, you're going to start getting an email from me on a regular basis. If you don't read what I write, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But read the articles because they're really good. So if you'd just like to receive that email on a weekly basis, there's some really good information in there.
One more question.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
As many as you
Can
like.
a little bit of the reverse mortgage, how it works?
There are the old reverse mortgages. People were fearful because they thought they would lose control of their house. But there are so many products out there now that are so much better. One of my clients working through a mortgage broker, he retired because of a health issue, but he needs more income, and he's living in a $1.5 million house that's paid for. So the mortgage agent set him up with it's almost like a spending account. He has a credit card that each month it refreshes with $2,000 on it, and he can spend that money over the course of the month, and if he doesn't spend it, he doesn't spend it. And at the end of the month, it reconciles, and that becomes tied to the line of credit on his house. He will never lose control of his house, ever. So that's one type for somebody who's looking for an income stream or income support. But there's also standard reverse mortgages where you have, I don't know, 1.5, these numbers are, you need to talk with mortgage agent. But let's say your house is worth 1.5, but you need $100,000 for a renovation. Well, you might get approved for $250,000. And then you can get some of the equity of your house to use for other things. The thing about, no, I'm not going to say that. It's really important to talk to a reputable mortgage agent, somebody who, well, like me, has your best interest at heart and will listen and find out. And if you need a referral, I can think of two in particular who I would be, and I'm sure Donna has a pool of mortgage brokers that she works with on a regular basis as well. But that is becoming a viable option for people to supplement their retirement lifestyle. It's not the same as when our parents paid off their $30,000 mortgage on a house that they paid $50,000 for. You know, our houses are worth, you know, $1.5, $2 million. And it's money that's tied up, and you can't do anything because you can't do anything else in your life because all of your assets are tied into your house. So I think a reverse mortgage for a responsible person is the way to go. But every situation is unique.
You have to be very careful of the spending.
100%. 100%. Yeah. So I think we're all done. You want to close off, Donna?
Thank you, Patricia. That was wonderful. Really, honestly. Very informative. So we've made it to the end. Congratulations. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you all of those online for joining us as well. And a very special thank you to Reverend Coleman and Lady Anna Coleman. I love you guys to death. We encourage you, should you be at that point of wanting to manage your finances or considering your housing and care needs, please don't hesitate to reach out to myself or to Patricia. We're here to help. If anybody has any questions, we're also very happy to stay after the presentation to chat, have any other questions, we're here. Thank you very much, everyone. Oh, we do have the raffle draw. Did everybody put their name in? Let's do that. Please sign up for it, and yeah, absolutely. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah. Let me just fill this out here.
Yeah, just fill it out.
Okay.
We're all, okay.